Hi everyone, welcome back to the stream. I think this is working. I was having some technical difficulties with the streaming a second ago. Yeah, it looks like it's going well. Okay, great. We are live, excellent. Cool, so this week I'm hoping to get the animation for the enemies to work so that we can start to look at throwing fireballs at them and have them explode into flames. So first thing to do, check where we got to the previous week. And we've got some warnings there. What was this? 8080. So localhost 8080, our lovely menu, and we've got our guys there. I've got a little delay, and then they all walk off down into the room. Yep, and they're doing depth, sort of faking the depth into the room as well. Yeah, awesome. Okay, so let's go and back to our image maker. Scroll down to the little guys, and we'll open them up. And first thing we're going to do is duplicate. Oh no, hang on. This is the. Yeah, that's okay actually, right. Okay, so we will duplicate this and we'll call it enemy wizards burning. Yeah, cool. So we will just confirm that, we'll just wait for it to finish duplicating. It takes a while because it's quite a dense image, and there's 4 frames of it. I have noticed some problems with this. P is not defined. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, cool. It did duplicate it, so that is fine. So we go back here, go to saved images. Should be right down the bottom. Yes, there he is. Enemy wizard burning. Great. Cool, so the first thing we want to do is have a look at we want to pick out a nice yellow, I think. Some flames going. Let's save these as custom colors, add to custom colors, and get an orange, a bit of a red tint, and maybe somewhere in between. Great. Okay, so I'm going to add those, keep those custom colors in there. I'll select the yellow to start with. I'm going to zoom in, and I was thinking of like a super simple like animation that it's basically it's just going to burn from the top down and just have the fire descend. It'll look a bit weird, but we can fix that later at different times. So let's, well, first things first, I'm going to make some of his hat disappear to start with. Start to paint some of these in yellow. So if that go down, just get the whole hat going in there. And then go to our custom colors. Oh, I didn't save the custom colors. That's annoying. Okay, well, we'll go with the orange here. Bit of a sort of cooler color there, and maybe go with a red. Yeah, let's just go with the standard red. Just a little bit of red there. Okay, so then I don't know whether to leave the feet moving or not. Yeah, go on. Let's. No, actually, I want to. Can add a frame, and that should, yeah. Now, why did I not add in an easy way to delete a frame? I don't think I did, unfortunately. I didn't. So we're stuck with these frames, so I will just go through and erase everything. I'll just leave some blank frames at the end. So you can kind of see this is, well, this is a preview of the effect of it going down. It's going to look a bit like this. It's just going to sort of disintegrate. This is taking far too long. Need to make a bigger erase tool, I think, as well as being able to erase entire frames. Yeah, actually, I know what I'm going to do with these last frames. I'm going to make a little puff of smoke. So once he's finished disintegrating, he'll have a nice little puff of smoke at the end. In fact, actually, what I can do, maybe I can reuse these frames as a still burning, so we'll just make sure it just has to get down to there, and then we can add the flames in. So we want the yellow first. Some nice like strands of fire coming down. Previous frame, sample the orange, put that, oh, silly, forgot to change back, set the orange back, come here, change back to that tool, there, and finally, go and grab a sample of the red, let's change back to the paint tool. Yeah, not too much red because it looks a bit gory then. Now we go back to erasing everything. Ooh, we've got another error. Oh, okay, yeah, that's all right. Under a bit of time pressure this evening, so I'm afraid at 8:30 is my hard cutoff, which is in an hour and 15 minutes. So it's possible we won't quite finish what we're hoping to do, but if we don't, then I will try to stream again over the weekend to finish this bit off, because I quite like it to get to that point. I think once I've got the ability to actually kill enemies and like shoot them and make them respawn, then we've got the beginnings of the game. And I'll be able to actually post that online so people can have a go. How far down did we get? Oh, quite far. Okay. I quite like the idea of adding to these because the feet will sort of start thrashing right at the end, which will look kind of interesting, I think. If a little bit grisly. Yeah, it's down to about here. Okay, now we're going to sample the yellow in here. Have that. Draw some little like marks of it dripping down. Let's look over here. Go back to here, sample the orange. Put some more orange near the top. Finally get some of that red in as well. Green. Cool, and then lastly, the last frame. Actually, You know, I quite like the idea of leaving the shoes in, so it's just the shoes with some smoke coming out. Might be a bit difficult to do today, but it'd be quite cool because we could like leave the shoes smouldering for a bit and then have them fade out. And that could be part of the sort of the death sequence, as it were, of defeating an enemy wizard. Just erase all these little bits. In fact, it sort of reminded me, once I've finished erasing this guy, I'm going to do a save, which is going to take quite a while, I think, now that we've got even more frames. So I think at this point, yeah, all the arms are gone. Just down to there. No, that's not what I meant to do at all. Cool. Yeah, I think that works for me. So I will sample the yellow. Go back to here. Yeah, I will burn the shoes as well, I think. Put orange on there. Nope. Mess up the sample again. And finally get the red. Okay, now we just need to connect these. So I want to take a little bit more off. I'm going to get the erase button in there. Sorry, just got. Just got to close something down quickly. Okay, like that. Yeah, so I want to go. I think I'll maybe create 2 more frames here, so let's get rid of this. Leave those colours in there so that we can sample them easily without having to switch back to other frames. That looks good. So sample the yellow. Did it again. There we go. There's nice lines of like fire dripping down. Cool, finally erase the top of the hat. And I said I was going to save, didn't I? So let's do that. Save, just have to wait. I've realised there's a little bit left there. missed that bit. Just check on the stream. Yeah, looks like the audio is going through. Unfortunately, there's no one on the stream to confirm, but hopefully it's working. If not, then I'll do what I did last time and recreate the code that we're going to write. Cool, so that's finished saving. There. Let's have a look at the animation so far. Okay, yeah, it kind of looks okay. Kind of happy with that. Yeah, unfortunately these zooms are not very good. Yeah, quite happy with that. I think I'd like to get one more frame in to bridge between these two. So kind of add one more frame, turn the animation off. And then where do we need to get to? So we're going to go from here to here. So I'm going to say the cutoff is going to be here. Get rid of some of these. Okay, sample the yellow. Keep forgetting to switch back to that tool. Orange. Just put a bit more yellow down here. Whoops, not that. Okay. And finally, a little bit of red on top. Go, and then I'll just erase the rest of this. Okay. Yeah, as I mentioned, the legs like thrash around as you move from this one because it's on the old walking animation. So let's just have a quick look at what that looks like. Yeah, that looks cool. It's kind of like melting. Yeah, you see a little leg twitch at the end there in the animation. Cool. Well, that works. So I'm going to save that one last time. Let's just take a few moments. Yeah. While that's saving, I'm just going to leave that off to the side. Going to have a look at the fireball code because I seem to remember that wasn't actually obeying the distance. It was just sort of calculating a location where it was. So I'm just going to check on how that happens. It's not the new. Excuse me. It's the updates that we wanted. So that's time to live. Current frames, that's all the framing stuff. Okay, so how does it figure out? Ah, okay, right. Yeah, this is not so good. So because it's using the time to live as the distance that it is down. So I think we actually need to what does it do with the location? Does it actually use the location? Yeah, lock.x, lock.y. Ah, okay. Yeah, it's okay. So the y location is actually the distance on the screen, so how high up. So that's fine. So it's just that we have to remember that this is in a different plane. So what we will do is add in distance and make that an F64. And this is kind of a proxy for what, for the enemies, would be the Y coordinate, which is how far back down the hall they are. This is this. And we'll make it public because we're definitely going to need to access that from outside this struct. So, yep, it doesn't like that because we, where did I put it? Under the TCL. Okay, so distance is going to be 100 because it starts at the very end of the corridor. And then every time, so the time to live is going to be, does it? Fireball time to live, excellent. Okay, so the distance is going to be self.ttl divided by fireball time to live. It's going to be the proportion of this multiplied by 100, and that is going to be our distance, except it's not, it's going to be 100, wait, is it? Yeah, so at time to live, max, it'll have full time when it starts. It will be 1 times 100, and then every time after that, it'll be a fraction of that. Yeah, cool. Okay, that works. And then we'll use this for the collision. Great. This has finished saving, so we'll go back and render the image and save it out. Render. Look at that. That's kind of funny. Save image as. Okay, that's a different project. This one, assets, images. Okay, enemy wizards. I'm gonna call it burning. Feels a bit less final than dying. So we will also need to add the loading of that image into the enemy wizard, and we will use this, call this the burn image, and it was enemy wizard burning. Cool, so we will, and then we need to load the burn image. Image element in here. Let burn image equals HTML element new unwrap, same as above, and then burn image dot set source equal to enemy wizard burn image. Great, figured it out. And finally, we set the burn image on the struct so that it actually exists on there and not just in this function. Cool. So now we just need to connect up, figuring out when the fireball is in the same location or within a certain distance of the enemy. So let's go back to game. I think we have, yes, we have our fireballs and enemies. So inside here, after the sort, because we want to make sure it checks them in the right order because it's going down the corridor. The Y is going to need to be exactly the same, and the X needs to be within a range. So actually, we'll probably put a little fiddle factor into the Y because otherwise they could jump through each other. Really, the smart thing to do would be to calculate the trajectory and draw lines and check if lines are crossing. But as I said, I'm on a bit of a time squeeze tonight, so yeah, getting into all of that, and that'll require like drawing diagrams and things for me to be able to visualize what we need to do there. So instead, what we'll do is loop through the enemies for enemy in self.enemies.itMute, same as above. and then we'll loop through each fireball for fireball in self.fireballs.iter mute, because we'll need to kill them if they do collide. Then if let's create a new function on fireball. That's hit objects. Okay, that's what we call when we've hit something. That's good. So on here, I'm going to create a pub fun. Let's see. Check collision. We'll call it at self, and we're also going to need to pass in an enemy. So let's just call it object. But for now, it will be an enemy wizard. We'll need to create a trait in order to be able to check all objects, which we will do at some point, but not today. And we will return a pool. So if okay, I'm going to need to draw this out. MS Paint, that's MS Store, not that. Paint, there we go. Okay, so we've got our wizards, and he is a square, and he has a location, which is, no, the location is actually the position on the floor. And the Y will always be the same. No. The Y is going to change because of perspective, because the floor is angled. Okay, this is going to get more complicated than I thought. Because they're in two different planes, it's going to make it interesting. Okay, well let's just crack on and try and see where we get. So we want the X coordinate plus the width and the Y coordinate plus the width. So it's going to be location minus the width over 2. So it's X minus W over 2 and X plus W over 2. So that'll be how we figure out the X coordinate. And we're also going to need to add a new state to the enemy wizard as well. But for now, let's just look at this. So if object dot X minus object dot get, we don't have a get width. Okay, let's let's get the, I'm going to create functions out of these so as not to expose the original things. So get width at no, just needs to be at self, and that'll be an F64, and that needs to return enemy wizard frame width and pub fun get heights at self F64, and that will just return the enemy wizard's frame heights as well. Cool. So from here we will go if enemy wizard minus, let's get half width equals objects dot get width over 2.0 because it's an F64. So if self.lock.x is greater than objects.lock.x minus half width, and self.lock.x is less than objects.lock.x plus half width, then we are in the correct X location. And now we need to calculate the distance. So the distance, if self.getDistance minus self.get instance minus the object.lock.y.abs is less than the fireball collision distance, which is something we'll make, then we will log fireball hit enemy self.hit object. So we'll make the fireball disappear, and then we'll also return true because it's now hit something, and otherwise we'll just return false. And then we just need to set this const f64 equals. I'm gonna make it 2 for now. We'll see how sensitive that is. I suspect we may need to make it a bit more, but we will see. Why is that never being called? Because we're not calling check collision. If check collision fireball.check collision. Check collision, and we pass in the enemy. Then well, this is a good question. How do we continue out of a Rust loop? Rust for loops continue. Can you just continue out of the first one and not the second one? That's a good question. Okay, that's not what we are for, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's not the question I asked. Okay, Rust for loop, nested break in a loop. How to break from nested loops. For example, blah, blah, blah. We actually don't want to continue, we want to break. Yeah. Good job, I realised that. Yeah, so that should break out of the inner loop, but not the outer loop, because there may be multiple enemies. Ooh, that could cause a problem because the fireball would be dying. So we maybe need to here only retain the ones that are alive before looping back around and checking the next enemy. Log outer loop hit enemy set enemy on fire. Okay, if we're incredibly lucky, this will just work, but I'm not holding out a huge amount of. Okay, we have our. So we have our thing here. So let's have a go trying to hit some enemies. Okay, they move quite fast actually. This is not an easy game. Oh, come on. Okay, well we've not managed to hit any enemies, and it feels like the fireball is just not doing what I expect. Oh, we didn't add a collision to the floor either. Yeah, okay. Okay, so we're going to need to rethink the calculation of the location of the fireball as it goes down the corridor. It goes down the center, that's fine, that works correctly. But then as soon as we start moving out to like hit the floor, then it's not so good. So yeah, which means we're going to need to start thinking about like ray casting and basically trying to fake ray casting. Oh, this is going to get interesting. This is, I think this is a level of maths that's going to be far too much for me to finish before 8:15, which is when I really need to finish. 8:30 is the hard cutoff. Draw it out quickly and let's have a think. Because yeah, when you're casting a fireball from here, I mean that should basically disappear instantaneously, like this one does on the wall. But then, like when you fire there, it's going through. It's not traveling in a straight line down the corridor. like if I was rolling a ball, it would like start here and then roll off that way, kind of follow the perspective of the hall, but it's not doing that because it's on a 2D plane. God, yeah, floors and ceilings are a lot harder than I thought. Like walls were fairly easy, I think, because we just cheated. In fact, I bet, yeah, I left a little bit here. So it works here, or appears to work here. Then as soon as you get it back out here, it's because it's kind of extending the wall all the way down. So, yeah, that should have definitely hit an enemy, and it didn't. So we need to, right, let's have a look. I guess it all depends on where we're simulating it throwing the fireball from. So I'll assume that the X and Y coordinate is there, and it's gonna go so if you fire it from here, you're basically firing it from the ground to the ground, so that disappears instantaneously. If you're firing it here, oh gosh, yeah, this is such a weird perspective to think from. Yeah, I'm definitely going to need to think about this a lot harder. It's such a shame because I really wanted to try and I'm trying to think of a way of setting an enemy on fire, just so that we can test the new animation. I'm going to say if there is a fireball, let's create a new function here called pubFun. I'm going to hit object, hit by object, I guess, to make it make grammatical sense. Self, and we're not going to return anything. And how do we do it in the fireball? We did it on isAlive. So we'll set create an isAlive and isDead. Oops, not book. Ooh. There we go. And hit by object self.isAlive equals false. And in the update, we will if not self.isAlive, then we just need to advance the death animation here, and the end will return. Where was wait time used? That's there. Frame delay. Here we go. This is the code we want to copy. And self dot time to frame equals enemy wizards frame delay. Yeah, we'll just use the same one from there. Self.burn_image.width, then self.isDead is going to be equal to true, which means that after the update in game, we need to check on isDead. Is alive, not is alive, sorry, is dead. Okay, that's fine. And then in the render, we want the else if self dot, actually should probably start with that. So make this the else. So if else self dot is alive, if not self dot is alive, then offset is equal to self dot, ooh, yeah, what a yeah, let's just reuse move frame. So when we're hit, so we'll set self dot move frame equal to 0. Move frame equals sorry, so as f64 times enemy wizards frame width. Okay, so that's the offset, and we return at self.burn image. There we go. Yeah, that should work. And then for enemy wizard, blah, blah, blah. Just going to set this to always be true, so it should always pick out one enemy. Once an app mute enemy wizards. Oh yeah. Go. Oh, didn't like that. App mute. Oh, found app. Oh, why? Yeah, but why do you care if it's going? Expected enemies. Yeah. It's in Fireball. Let's just tell it to accept pointer to an enemy wizard. Does that make it happy? It does. There we go. Great. Enemy dot. I can't remember what we called it now. The function there. Hit by object. There you go. Hit by object. Great. So that should trigger the death animation. Oh, missing is alive and is dead. Yes, you are. Actually, that's, so is alive is true and is alive is true and is dead is false. Yep, I may have messed up the logic with that. If not self dot is alive, right, if self dot is dead, then return. Yeah, we don't, if we're completely gone, we don't want to deal with any rendering. But if we're not alive, then we do that. Yeah, great. And we set is alive is equal to, oh, why? Because that needs to be mute. Great. So, self is dead is true. Okay, I think that, yeah, I think that works. Okay, so let's have a go building that. Great, no errors. Come here. So this should pick a random enemy. Okay, it's set them all on fire. Okay, well that was fun. Few notes. The frame delay, this needs to be, we'll call this the burn frame delay and make that much higher. Gosh, we've got a lot of constants here. 64. Okay, well the walk frame delay was very quick. So we'll maybe go for 3 times that. Yeah, I also don't like the fact that it hit every enemy when really it should have done 1 per. So it should break out of this loop and then hit this, but maybe it's not. It should be. Oh, are we setting? Yeah, we are. Oh no, we're only doing it here. That's why. Yeah. Okay. So we'll set fireball dot hit object in there just to doubly make sure, and I'll just check that it only does 1 at a time. Just wait for them. Yep, there we go. Nope, it's still okay. But I like the animation as it plays out. So, which was really the thing that we wanted to check. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure I can do this in terms of like changing the retention of the fireballs and modifying the fireballs inside here. Yeah, let's have a quick. I'll go back to that Google and see if we can break. We actually want to break the outer loop. Break outer loop. There we go. Turn it from loops. So break counter. Outer loop, inner loop, break, outer. Oh, nice. Okay. So can we do that from iterator? Break, outer iteration loop. Yeah, great. You just give it a lifetime, looks like. Okay, it doesn't like that. Oh, it has to go before the 4. This is cool. This is a new thing I've learned here. Yeah, we never actually used that, so we don't care. Yeah, there we go. Oh, oh. Oh yes, hang on. Of course, it never hits the thing, so the fireball always exists, and actually we want to get rid of it. So let me move around a bit. Okay, well that didn't entirely work, but I still do really like that animation. I think it looks cool. Did I actually restart the code? That's the question. I think I did because I didn't hit refresh. Let's just check. Yeah. Okay, that's very odd. That is it not setting in hit object? Is it not setting is alive? Oh, hang on. Yeah, hit object sets is dying. That's why. Okay, so it's right. Yeah. Okay, this just hacking this together now. Going to just set, instead of calling hit object inside game on here, going to do fireball.isAlive equals false. There we go. So that should hopefully kill the fireball rather than going through the. Yes, great. Okay. There is one thing I need to sort out, which is the delay. There's a delay in there. Ooh, that's interesting. I can only hit 2. Okay, I don't know why. There was a strange delay where I couldn't click anywhere. But yeah, so the enemy wizard, there seems to be a bit of a delay of wait time. Okay. And I can't remember why we introduced the... Oh, yes, I do remember why we introduced the wait time. So when we die, we'll set self wait time equal to 0.0, because we don't want to wait, we want to start burning immediately. And the great news is we can test this because the wait time exists at the beginning. So if I instantly... There we go. Yep, he instantly starts going, even though these guys are waiting. They're all waiting a random amount of time. Ah, that's interesting. Okay, so that's why it's retaining the old enemy for some reason. So I'm actually hitting the old one. It's not. Yeah. Okay, that's fine because we're sort of faking hitting the enemies because I'd underestimated the complexity of the maths behind that, and the fact that we have to translate coming from here and figure out the point from which we're raycasting. I don't know if that makes sense. Probably not. But essentially, like, where are we firing from? And really, I guess the logical perspective, or the way of least surprise, is that we'd actually, rather than be like the entire corridor, we'd be looking from a small viewport as though we're standing in the corridor, and we'd need to calculate where so from that viewport, we need to extract back to the point from which it's firing, so that every fireball comes from this point, project it through that smaller 2D plane into this wider 3D room. If we were working in a 3D space, we could just use raycasters and cast from the camera, which would be super easy. But because we're not, we're going to have to figure that out, and that's the complex bit. But for now, we have our guys. They move around, and we have the death animation. So we know that when we do fix the code, the collision code, we can just make them melt like this, which I think is quite cool. So yeah, and there's this strange delay, which I'm not sure what it is. I don't think it's removing the enemies properly after they die. I suspect it's something to do with that wait delay on the enemy wizard. This is never getting to here. In fact, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to skip the wait time altogether and do the is dying thing faster time to frame. Yeah, shouldn't be anything in there that's causing this problem. Okay, that's the first one. Yeah, there's still this delay, so I'm clicking, but it's not registering. It seems, is it when they're moving? Let's see, let's find one moving. No, it's just the last one. This is very strange. I can't fully explain what's going on here. But unfortunately, I think it's kind of the amount of time I suspect to debug this is going to be complex. So I will have a think about how to calculate this fireball location down the corridor from this viewport, and hopefully come to the next stream with a much better idea of how to solve this problem, and maybe even with some diagrams to explain the problem that as it is, and this projection through a viewport of of the fireball so that we can figure out where it is to make sure that the collision makes sense. Yeah, if we were dealing with it like a gun, and I suspect this is the way that, well, Virtua-Cop works in 3D, but the way the old Untouchables game on C64, I suspect it just did an instantaneous, like, is there anything underneath the cursor at this point? But because we're using this slow fireball moving down the corridor, we've made a rod for our own back, and that's the problem that we've got to solve. But yeah, anyway, thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. Sorry it's a bit of a shorter stream and that I'm sort of bailing out. I'm trying to solve complex raycasting mathematics live, but as I say, on a bit of a time schedule. But yeah, thanks for joining. Hopefully see you on the next one, and yeah, hopefully that won't be too long, and hopefully I'll know more about what I'm doing by then. Thanks. Have a great evening. Bye for now.